Hey, Riley J2A here. Okay, back with another video. Finally, didn't make a video last week. I had some ideas, kind of fall flat. So here I am now doing a video similar to my last video. In my last video, I talked about how anti-gunners used to try to take guns and why that isn't really going to work anymore following Bruen, and there's some of their new techniques, okay? But in that video, I was talking about how do they do it legally, In this video, I'm going to talk about, how do they, convince people to be anti-gun. Because as we know, there's a lot of anti-gun people in this country. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And obviously, I'm going to say, I'm well aware that a lot of people already know this information, but I also know that there's many people who don't, because there's a lot of new gun owners, or maybe you've been a gun owner for a while but you're just now getting into the politics around it, and you don't understand why so many people are pretty anti-gun. So I'm going to talk about how that happens today. So I'm going to get right into that. Okay, so, how it happens is the agendas usually come down from usually politicians, Democrats, but of course there's some rhinos out there too, then, or just other power-hungry individuals. And they put out these false ideas that nobody needs an AR-15. That's a weapon of war, If you want that, you're a horrible person. If you have that, you must hate children. Terrible things. They suggest that you can buy, they suggest that there is no background check, which there clearly is. Not that I agree with that, but that's the fact remains that there are background checks in this country, but they try to convince people that there aren't. And there's tons of things they say to make gun owners, the Second Amendment community, look terrible. But what it is, it's propaganda, okay? It's not about gun control, it's about control. You can't control an armed populace, so they want to take the guns. And we don't even need to get into what would happen if they actually do take guns, but fortunately that isn't going to happen, so don't need to waste our time there. Anyway, they put out all these false, points, and then of course, mainstream opinion, the media, news, Hollywood, they take all this, they spread it, they run with it, the public school system as well, so people are hearing the same things all the time about guns and gun owners and the Second Amendment that are really bad things. They hear it so often, again and again and again, they become indoctrinated to actually believing that is truth. This propaganda, but it's not true. But a lot of people, they do believe this because they always have known this as truth. Because like I said, this starts in the public school system generally with a lot of people. So it starts at a young age. So they've always known this to be true. So they don't even, the truth is out there, but it's harder to find than the propaganda. You got to look for it. A lot of people don't even know what they're looking for. They don't even know that there is something else to find. So it's really unfortunate, because this is nothing new. This has been going on over generations, decades. And it's getting worse and worse, as time goes on. In 2020, the summer of love, I believe some people are calling it, a lot of people did open their eyes and realize, oh, nobody's going to protect me and I'm in danger. A lot of people in 2020 ran out and bought guns. Gun sales skyrocketed in 2020 to record numbers, which I think is a great thing. And many of those were first time gun buyers. Okay, and when they went out and bought a gun for the first time, not only did they realize, oh, well, it isn't true that the police are going to protect me, the government's going to protect me. They realized that isn't true. That's why they went out and bought the gun. But then when they went out and bought the gun, they realized, oh, well, what I thought there was no background checks. They realize there are background checks. They've been lied to there. It is, despite what they think, pretty difficult to buy a gun. They realize that there are restrictions, like, a lot of these people were expecting that they would go in and buy a full auto, M4 off the shelf, no background check, take it home. But, they find that no, you can't get full autos already. That's already regulated. There are background checks, like I said. They realize that there are a good amount of restrictions. And even some of these restrictions that they probably voted for, thinking that, oh, I just want to keep the community safe, keep these guns out of the hands of criminals. And then at that time, they realized, oh, well, these laws affect me, not necessarily the criminals. So, in 2020, a lot of people woke up and realized what the situation is. But of course, not everybody, In this country, it's about, I would say it's close to 50-50 on the amount of people who are pro-gun to the amount of people who are anti-gun. But there's less people who are pro-gun. So it's close to 50-50, but not quite. Now you got to ask, why is that, considering I think almost everybody is pro freedom of speech, right? The First Amendment. So this is the reason, right? It's the propaganda, it's the indoctrination. A lot of people are just ignorant because they're not only uninformed, but they're misinformed by, mainstream opinion and whatnot. So, of course, this isn't all anti-gunners. There's many people who do know the situation and have, for whatever reason, chosen to be anti-gun. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are simply misinformed. And, everything I just laid out, I believe, is a big contributing factor to why these people are so misinformed. So now I'm going to talk about what we can do to, change this. I think the best thing we can do in the Second Amendment community is inform people, have that conversation. Keep it respectful. Don't raise your voice. Stay calm, lay out the facts, bring statistics to the table. Have that respectful, informative conversation with somebody who may be in this boat. Because, the best thing we can do is bring some people who were maybe anti-gun before, or maybe just neutral on the situation. Bring those people in, let them know what the Second Amendment is about, why we have it, why we need it, how gun laws will not, do anything to benefit anybody, really. Of course, laws don't stop criminals. You can't legislate evil people away. It doesn't work that way. So, I think the best we can do is inform people. A lot of people are anti-gun, they're anti-Second Amendment, but they don't even know what the Second Amendment says. lay it out. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, okay? It doesn't say shall not be infringed unless it's an AR-15, shall not be infringed unless it holds more than 10 rounds, shall not be infringed unless it's in a public place. It doesn't say any of that. It simply says shall not be infringed. Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit today about, how so many people are, how it happens, right? It comes from, usually politicians, and then it gets spread through the media. Many people believe that, take that as truth. But in reality, it's not. It's either lies or an exaggeration of the truth. And that's how it happens. So like I said, the best thing we can do, have that conversation with an anti-gun, help bring some more people into the fold, into this community, because that's really what we need to be doing. That's going to be it for me. Goodbye.